Have you seen any innovative efforts on containerized fires from DoD? Recognized
yes.
for an unclassified?
Yeah, yes, I have seen them. I don't know if we can go into detail on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, in the testimony that I entered into the record from the Association for Uncrewed Vehicle Systems International, it lays out that the U.S. currently lacks the industrial base needed to meet the goals of Replicator, in part due to Chinese drone dumping, an illegal trade practice that's been flooding the global market with subsidized Chinese manufactured drones. It's estimated that Chinese drones account for more than 90% of the consumer market, 70% of the enterprise market, and 92% of the first responder market. What steps can the United States take to revitalize our domestic drone manufacturing industrial base in order to help Replicator? I'll go reverse here and start with you, Dr. Shar.
Well, certainly this is a problem DoD has been working on for a while with the Blue UAS program, trying to find ways to build up some kind of domestic commercial base. Part of the problem is even if you have drones that are made here, all of the supply chain comes through China because the drone is in essence, in many ways, a flying smartphone. So I think that this particular problem is embedded into a much bigger problem of the U.S. tech relationship with China, deep degrees of entanglement, and finding ways to put in place incentives for industry to be moving production elsewhere to partner or allied countries is going to be really important.
I think we missed an opportunity in this technology, not from the Department of Defense standpoint, but from the regulation of the FAA as far as encouraging the type of testing and development of technologies and to open the airspace to do this. From the Department of State, whose interpretation on missile technology control regime that led to not companies investing and frankly the Turks taking certain marketplaces and the Chinese taking the market. So we had we developed this technology. We were ahead 30 years ago, and now we're not. And it's going to take a whole lot of effort to try to overturn that. But it's a multi-governmental agency effort. It's not just the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense can't drive this technology and drive the industrial base. It's going to have to come from other agencies' help as well.
Yeah, I mean, it requires supply chain transparency. We need to do the analysis to figure out, well, what are the components that are coming from China, and what's the risk associated with that? Because batteries, for example, are going to be probably inevitably going to come from China, and we probably have to accept that. But other things maybe we don't want to have come from China. And then also, creating that demand signal on the part of DoD for drones that are in this, like Bill said, the Group 2, Group 3 size range, where it's not your little DJI hobby drone, but it's like a TB2 or something like that that's militarily relevant. Creating a demand signal for those drones from the DoD will kind of force some of these controls to be put in place and help the emergence of a more stable U.S. domestic drone making market.
But we're also going to have to export to our closest allies. And because our demand alone is not going to drive this market, so we need to share, and that's going to goes back to the State Department again.
Yeah, and ITAR specifically. Yeah. Well, I'm cautiously optimistic we can fix ITAR in this Congress. We're making progress for the first time in a while, and I want to commend the efforts of Chairman McCall on the Foreign Affairs Committee. It's a very fraught issue. A point of clarification. Okay, so Replicator is going to be coordinated through the Defense Innovation Steering Group, DISG, another acronym, with the support of DIU. And we have great new leadership at DIU with Doug Beck. Just tell me how do the combatant commands fit in, and the services, or how should they, rather?
So the way that innovation is being managed right now in the department is the combatant commanders, in particular INDOPACOM, is driving the definition of operational problems to be solved. So that's the entering point, is they provide the operational problem they want to address. That goes into the Defense Innovation Working Group and Steering Group, and then they make decisions about prioritizing which operational problems to solve in which order.
Okay.
And then that goes over to then the kind of vague solution identification process, and that's what I was referring to earlier. It's not well defined, not well supported necessarily, but then DIU is part of that, and then will generate solution ideas, and then DIU is responsible for going and procuring those solutions to get them to the warfighter.
Interesting. Any other comments on that basic management structure?
I mean, I
That
guess
makes
just
sense.
we've seen this problem of this gap in the ability of the department to respond to COCOM needs over the last 20 years. It's not a new one. There's been a lot of organizational solutions, GWANs and GEONs and other things. We'll see if this works, but I think that there are just huge structural barriers inside the department towards, orienting the RDT&E, the production processes, sort of driving material solutions to the immediate needs of the warfighter or the near-term needs. I'm encouraged by the level of attention by senior leadership, but they do have a lot of work to do.
I think from a managerial perspective, you need to bring the operators in consistently as you do serial operational prototyping. So in other words, minimal viable product goes out to the warfighter. They test it, look at it, see if it's operationally useful or not, suggest changes, goes back into the process. You prototype again, repeat. And this will be repeating over and over again, and frankly should be repeating over and over again with software changes, with hardware changes. And the key thing that we have right now is this wall that we like to throw things over. And going to Congressman Moulton's idea of embedding, the operator in certain areas is probably a real good one. The question is, how do you do that?
Go ahead, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so I would say this gets the need for rapid prototyping to be done on a tempo that's much faster than what the DoD is currently planning, which is like 2 or 3 of these events per year. That's not going to get you to where you need to be. And then the problem with the DIU idea of they're going to go procure these vehicles is who's going to actually do the prototyping and the evolution of these vehicles, because DIU is more of a procurement agency, not a integration and R&D type of agency. So I think those are challenges.
I got one more.